Today it is Crouching GOK Hidden Gundam as I take a look at the high-grade GOK Seed Freedom version. This is a ridiculously cool model kit and it's not like anything we've ever seen before. It's classic looking GOK on the outside, Infinite Justice Spec 2 on the inside, and if this story is correct, if the rumors are true, Bandai weren't even gonna make this model kit. That's why it's behind all the other Seed kits. They only designed it after the fan reaction to this mobile suit in movie. There's a lot of cool aspects to this, especially in the way that it is designed, being two mobile suits in one. A mild little bit of a disappointing aspect to it when it comes to color accuracy, but overall it's a fantastic package, and what can I say? I got this right here through Hobby Link Japan, so link is down there in the description. Now let's get this beast built. When it comes to the high-grade GOK Seed Freedom version, this comes in quite a hefty high-grade box. I will mention though a lot of the parts in this are very large, so it isn't a very involved build, but at the same time, I suppose it is kind of, in a very unique kind of way. On taking a look around the box, you get to see all the different features that are in here. This definitely looks like one superposable nice GOK. We've got the full backpack included, the arms and the legs are very nicely designed, and we've got some great articulation in the body. Some of the other aspects about this mobile suit are included, including the damaged head parts. I will mention those aren't color accurate, but we'll see those later on. Design elements like the Justice Spec 2 parts sticking out, and you can use this with a sold separately option parts set gunpla 15 Cavalier. When it comes to the stickers in here, the only thing that is included is the eyes, and these are definitely not GOK eyes, but we'll come back to those when we're using them. So starting off down at the legs as I usually do. Now my biggest question with this kit was how is Bandai going to actually approach the kind of tube style arms and legs on the GOK? Now for the most part there is just one joint inside of this, not including the knee, for the bend at the upper leg. You then layer on three little tube sections just like so over it, with a cap section that is a little bit different. Up the shoulder then it's your usual 3-point shoulder joint which attaches on nicely, and down at the knee then it's two sections that attach together just like so. The inside structure of the foot is next. It is a ball joint sort of situation going on inside of here, and those two parts then attach in to the actual red upper section of the foot just like so on a hinge mechanism. Next up we've got some of the unique aspects to this particular high grade. We've got that Justice foot section that attaches up inside of this little grey housing section, which allows it to attach into the bottom of the foot. We then have some red framing for around this, so only the bottom section of the Justice's foot can be seen. Some more Infinite Justice Spec 2 looking parts next when it comes to the lower leg. We've got one half which attaches on with the keyhole locking mechanism like this. The piping style GOK leg then attaches onto this like so and sandwiches into position with another Infinite Justice looking leg part. The leg then finishes off with the armor for the lower leg. We've got a little section that attaches into the back of the leg for the knee bend. When it comes to the front armor section, we do have a white section to attach on from above like so, and then both of these sections just sandwich over the Infinite Justice section we saw, with just a little bit of it peeking out around the knee. So for the leg is pretty cool. We've got the Infinite Justice parts you can peek at from certain angles, and the knee bend on this is nice with a little bit of a curve to the upper leg just like so. So far, so good. Moving on up the GOK now to the waist unit, and the awesome design does not stop. First off, you got the main body. You attach in some thruster elements from below just like so, and one of the most coolest aspects about this particular unit is we do have an interesting unique waist joint. This is almost free-flowing on a ball-like mechanism in the middle, and that locks into position with a section from above. The part for attaching the front skirting armors then slots in towards the front. We've got some flare-out, almost wing-like aspects on the sides for the skirting armor so they can move out of the way of the legs. The waist section of the GOK is this right here. It's a big hollow unit. It attaches in from above backwards, and you turn it around keyhole locking style. This is for the actual Infinite Justice's body to attach down into, so that's why it's hollow. The butt skirt armor just attaches on as one large piece just like so. Around front it is 3 pieces, so that is 2 individual front skirtings which are locked ball joint style in by a front piece of armor. Once these are all together, it's time to throw on the legs, and again, the way the legs attach is amazing. Again, there's an almost ball rolling mechanism to the way the hip joints move, so when you attach the legs on, you can kind of get some dropping and swinging aspects to them. Very, very nicely designed. So next up, we're moving a little bit further up towards the main body. Now this is where it gets truly unique, if it was not unique enough already. If you've built tons and tons of gunpla and you want something that's like nothing else, this is it right here. First off, you actually start off with the stickers. So these are the eyes for the included Infinite Justice Spec 2 parts that are inside of it. So you attach on the eyes like so. The Justice's unicorn horn section attaches in from above. The neck joint attaches in from below. The back of the head attaches on like so. And when it comes to the front of the head section, you need to attach the yellow V-fin into the front of the head armor before attaching it on. You've got a full Justice Spec 2 head in here, but it is, as far as I can see, somewhat different to the actual full model kit, because it does say in the instructions you can use your torso and head from the actual full model kit on this kit instead of the more basic included parts in this kit. And speaking of those parts, we do have a very nice ab joint inside of this. This builds up as multiple little pieces on top of each other in a very unique kind of way. When you do actually move up to the torso element, the black aspect of this Infinite Justice, it does get a lot more basic. It is just one piece, including the shoulders, so it does mean it is rock solid, but basic. When you have the included torso finished, you just pop on the head like so. And then it gets to the parts which are back to the Zagok again. Again, you could use your standard high-grade Infinite Justice Spec 2 at this point and attach these side aspects on. These are for the brand new Zagok arms. There's one for either side, 2 pieces a pop. Then you've got a heavy front armor section that attaches onto it to lock it in position, and the same round back, some nice heavy internal grey armor. Onto the internal armor then we attach on the external armor. We've got a waist section in pink, color separated white small part for up front. We've got some large pink armor for layering over the nice heavy grey parts front and back, and we also do have a backpack section that attaches onto the back. This is made out of 3 pieces, color separated thruster, as well as the main body the thruster can move away from. This all attaches onto the back of the Zagok, just like so. Pink clavicle armor then attaches in from up top, and we do have a big extension aspect for extending the Infinite Justice Spec 2's horn, so when it, well, comes out of the Zagok, it's bigger than the small one. The mono eye in here is very, very nicely designed. It's a 2-part section with a nice clear aspect for the actual mono eye. This slots then down into a little rail, so it can actually slide all the way left to all the way right on this rail. You then lock it into position from above, as well as a nice little bit of head armor that also has those little circular or missile sections in the top of the head. We then have some pink armor for on top of this, again allowing some of the gray through from underneath, which looks phenomenal, and then this attaches onto the top of the Zagok, completely obscuring the Infinite Justice Spec 2's head, besides the horn sticking out up top. The design of this is so good. It's hidden perfectly, it looks so nice. We've got grey coming through from underneath the pink. It's multi-layered and looks heavily armored. To attach this then onto the body, it just slots down ever so nicely into the little bit of a cup-like waist section we built before. And what is actually inside of this is the Spec 2's ab crunch, giving it some great articulation. Next up now onto the business aspects of the Zagok, being those claws. The arms themselves build up with a fairly familiar inner sort of frame with a double jointed elbow that attaches on in the usual kind of way, and this looks almost like a standard inner frame for an arm. But up top then we attach on another little joint, so that does mean underneath the cylindrical aspects that we do slot on over this, there is 2 joints in there to give that nice curvature to the piping on the Zagok arm when it bends. The shoulder is your standard 3-piece kind of joint you'll see at most shoulders and hips. The large forearm armor attaches on in 3 pieces. That's a nice little recessing elbow piece that moves, as well as the main front and the main back. When it comes to actually putting together the claws in this, it's a grey central aspect which attaches into the outer armor. 3 of the claws pop in just like so, and there are 4 of these included. That is 2 for using the white claws, and there are 2 for the nice translucent orange effect claws in here as well, so you don't have to swap out parts, you just swap out full claws. The forearm shields are very nice yet simple, so 2 pieces, that's a white section and a red section. They attach together like so, pop onto the back of the forearms like this, and once you pop the claw on, this right here is what you get, just as detailed, just as articulated as the rest of the kit so far. And this, I would say, might be, but I feel like is the most impressive GOK I've seen to this day. Overall, the build was so unique. It houses a Gundam inside of it, well, partially houses a Gundam inside of it, and everything moves so seamlessly and perfectly. Next up then, we do have a backpack, which we've seen before, so I'll shoot through that quickly. So the last thing we have in here is the beam riser. Now this is exactly the same as what we would have seen with the high grade Infinite Justice Spec 2 not that long ago. It's very X-Wing inspired. It builds up very, very nicely. It's got multiple moving parts and transforming mechanisms. It can be relaxed on the back. It can be widespread wings on the back, and it can detach and be a unit all of its own. It's got moving cannons up front too, and overall it is fantastic. The most fantastic aspect about it is the fact that Bandai actually included one with the GOK instead of, well, telling you that you need to go out and buy an Infinite Justice to get the backpack for that, and then you might end up having to get two Spec 2s just for 2 backpacks, so it being included is very, very nice. Also, there is the other one sold separately, which came out on the exact same day, the big one. So far, this kit right here is absolutely ridiculously perfect and impressive, but there is one aspect that might kind of look a little bit like a disappointment. For me, I think it's great that it's included, but the but in the it's great but is the fact that it is not fully color accurate. That is the section for the damaged head, where you can actually see into the Infinite Justice Spec 2 inside. So this is what it looks like out of box, so it is not color accurate. It is missing a lot of gray off the damaged part. However, when you do actually pop it onto this kit, you are able to see into the face of the Infinite Justice Spec 2 inside, which is cool. It's just you will have to paint this. It may involve some masking or some very, very deft hands with a Gundam marker, but if you want this to be color accurate, you will have to get some gray on there, including the missile sections in the top of the head. But yeah, that right there is it for the build of the high-grade GOK Seed Freedom version. This is a ridiculously cool kit. Everything about it is phenomenal. I did mention the fact that the non-color separation on the broken part of the head is a little bit of a letdown, but the fact that it is included at all is a super positive aspect. So just get a little bit of gray on there and it will look perfect. Overall, I'm very impressed. This is what it looks like right out of box. It can dynamically pose. It looks amazing. And if you do have any questions for what you'd like to see in the full review, drop them down there in the comments. Again, this video right here was sponsored by those awesome people over at HobbyLink Japan, link in the description, and of course, I'll see you next time. As always, I cannot finish this video right here without thanking every single one of you guys for watching, and special thanks to those who support me on both the channel memberships as well as on Patreon, including Simon, Scotty Thomas, Abraxas, RG59061, Joe, Vanfon, and Caleb Engelhardt.